Today I've got a round of crazy, insane Karens finding out what it's like to do stupid things and the consequences of said actions. Welcome to Completely Stupid, the show about stupid people doing completely stupid things. I'm your host, the Australian idiot, and let's get into the clips. Delete.
Doesn't matter. Anybody can record anything.
Oh,
You just struck a pass through the bottom. Okay, that's fine. You talk to APD with
you.
no problem, man. Who did she just strike with the bottle?
The guy that's recording me with his cell phone, that's who I threw it at.
Ma'am, calm down.
You asked. I'm telling you. Calm down. You guys have been nothing but rude.
That's fine. Calm down.
That's fine that you guys are rude, but I need to calm down.
There's rules.
There's rules, and I followed them. And I put him in there. And you guys still drove up.
Was anybody hit back there with that
Yes,
bottle?
that's why I gotta go find out.
All right.
Back.
Why are they recording me?
That's their right.
That's their right. And it's my right.
When it comes to rules with pets on planes, there's a lot of complications to it. I've looked into this before for previous clips that are similar to this, and ultimately it's a whole convoluted mess that you're just best off asking, calling up the airline, finding out this ahead of time, and then when you're there on the day, double checking again, making sure that they are aware that you're doing this and that you have been told that you're fine to do it as long as you do X, Y, and Z. And ultimately, she has the choice of like, oh, this person's recording me. Let me just peg my water bottle at them for some dumb reason because, you know, people don't think because she was. Here we have a Kevin on the plane who refuses to cooperate and gets everyone deboarded from the plane.
No, you're not going to be getting on this flight, sir.
I'm not doing it. They're the dangerous one. You're crazy. You're crazy.
Sir,
I'm not leaving. Ever. I'm putting my belt on. They all know. You. Fly the plane now.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to deplane this aircraft.
Fine. Fly the plane now. These blacks are hijacking. Hell yeah. Get up. Get up. Now. Now you know. Don't with me. Fly the plane. These blacks are hijacking. Fly the plane now. Damn right. Oh.
Again, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to deplane this aircraft.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Captain speaking. We're going to go ahead and deplane the airplane. We have a maintenance issue also that needs to be corrected, so everybody gather your stuff and deplane the airplane this minute. Make it work in operation.
Buddy, I hope you had there was some security waiting there to take you in their arms because I think you might have caused some very frustrated passengers here that might potentially cause some problems. I mean, most likely no one will do anything, but you never know. There could be a bit of a crazy person also on board that will go after crazy person numero uno. This Karen gets kicked off a plane and then absolutely loses it to the point where it takes 10 police officers in order to get her out of there.
Two passengers.
Oh, shit. Oh, my God. Yo. Oh, my God. What you trying to be on? What you trying to be on? I'm on whatever you want. I'll beat you. What you trying to be on? If you really want to what you trying to be on? It's whatever. It's too tight in here. Give somebody know it. One day I'm gonna rock your shit.
You told me I got dub. Oh my God.
Yo. Why they carrying her? Damn. Why they doing all that? They got that bitch by her hands and her feet.
Not so tough now, are you? I mean, this is just like absolutely crazy that it even got to this point where it required multiple police officers not to just escort her out, no, to pick her up off her feet and carry her to the cop car because she's she's refusing to cooperate with them to that degree. Insane. Another plane, another set of Karens losing their minds, screaming at other passengers.
Everyone, y'all shut the you shut the up too. I know that don't out of here. Everyone wants to shut up.
I mean, what more is there to say at this point? By the sounds of the actual airplane itself, it sounds like they're currently flying, which, yeah, that just sucks. Like, genuinely, anyone else in this flight is just going to be like, well, that's unfortunate, because there's literally nothing that can be done right now unless someone decides to do a citizen arrest and sit on them for the rest of the flight. That wouldn't happen. I don't know, like, what even happens in this type of situation when a passenger loses it in the middle of a flight? This Kevin becomes a wild dog on the plane, and then when he faces consequences, he's not too happy about that.
Now! Sit down now! You can't hold us! We're all on the ground, sir. Sit! Yes, we are! We're already grounded! Sit! Is anyone else getting up? Sit! God! Sit! You sit down on that seat, you stay there. Don't fight it! Really?
Sorry, folks, but that's what they think of America. They think that it is a disgrace. I think of America as not a disgrace. I think of America as not a disgrace. So, really? Really? Really?
I mean, buddy, what else do you expect's going to happen when you start just doing whatever in the world that is there? Like, is there something wrong with you? Is that why this happened? Or you genuinely just have a screw loose in your brain and you thought it was a great idea to lose it like this? The caption says it's because of something racist. Unfortunately, we can't really tell for that. It just, we see the aftermath of you losing it, which means cops escort you out. Huh, funny that. The story being told with this clip is that apparently one of the flight attendants bumped into this mother for one reason or another, one way or another, and demanded that she put her seatbelt on. Things escalate and it ends up getting to the captain, whom orders that she is to get off the plane. This is when another flight attendant comes to tell the family these news, and the father starts recording this clip to ultimately have a very interesting thing happen on camera.
I needed to sit down and put my seatbelt on. Fine. She said, you need to get up. I said, can you move it? She said, is there going to be a problem? I said, no, there's not going to be. I didn't get aggressive with her. I didn't say, when the young man back there said I got aggressive, he wasn't even there. He was all the way in the back. I didn't do anything.
Okay. I wasn't here. I'm not saying what you did, but when the captain's made that request, I don't have any override.
How can the captain make a request with something that he didn't see? He didn't know. They're going off of words. Like, all of these people on the plane, I didn't do anything. No one did anything.
Do you have your belongings?
Okay, when do you have to go?
And we had witnesses. I just want this to be known that she has a newborn. You're putting her off the plane due to the negligence of and unprofessionalism of one of your staff members.
She did absolutely nothing.
Yeah, no, that's absolutely wrong.
You weren't even here.
Absolutely wrong.
I didn't do anything.
Put the video on.
I don't have to do anything.
Who are you talking to?
Somebody who saw this or heard it, I hope y'all speak up because it's wrong. Everybody who been around here who know that when this fellow over here came to get up, he came to get up, and we were getting up out our seat to move. She said, "Can you move?" We said, "Are we gonna move?" She said, "Can you give us space to get out?" It is ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous. Yup. Look at this. Look at that. Look at that. You should be ashamed of yourself. You should be ashamed of yourself. You weren't here. And yet you took the opinion of somebody else over somebody carrying a child, a baby.
You have the wrong impression of me, number
well,
one.
Guess what? You gave me that impression. You earned that impression. You earned it. You earned it. You earned it.
Get your stuff. Let's go.
This is what's happening. Trust me. You will be hearing from us on the legal level. We all got legal backing. Lawyers. Not dealing with no dummies. Makes no sense. I hope you sleep well tonight, brother. I hope you do. Thank you for speaking up, sir. Thank you for speaking up.
She accidentally bumped into her.
She didn't even bump into her. She asked her could she move so we could get out the seat.
Yeah, she was standing there.
Then she told her, sit down, have a seat, put your seatbelt on. To a mother with a 7-week-old child. Told her to sit down, have a seat, buckle your seatbelt. It's ridiculous. Catherine, I want you to know you have a very impatient, unprofessional, and negligent staff. That's you right there. That's you. Now, see that? That's her. That's her right there.
Well, we don't have no choice. They put us on.
Look at that. American Airlines. Look at that.
Let's go, sir. Let's go. Let's go. All right.
Look, okay, there might have been some genuine issues that occurred prior to the recording here that might have happened, but to me personally, any of those genuine issues that would genuinely require someone to hop off the plane, first off, it's a mother with a young kid. It's just like, is it a big enough issue to warrant kicking them off the plane, especially considering they got a young child whom it's probably not worth doing that type of thing with? And secondly, you completely lost my side. Like, I completely weren't happy with how they treated the situation, especially after one of the flight attendants knocks the phone out of his hand. That's just a step too far. Like, you don't do that. If they're recording you, yeah, it sucks, it's annoying, and whatever else you want to call it, but knocking someone's phone out of their hand is not cool. That's assault. I hope you realize that. It genuinely sounds like with this clip that something happened that probably shouldn't have, but ultimately was over-exaggerated by one of the parties, which has caused this person to be kicked off. And even though they chose to hear her out, which is an interesting thing to do, especially when you're in a position where it doesn't matter what the story was, you're under a strict request to get them off the plane, and that's that. So, yeah. This just entirely sucks. Just wholeheartedly sucks. Here we have an impatient Karen who's trying to get to a connecting flight, and when she starts causing an annoyance, one of the flight attendants decided to set her straight.
You have an hour, and it's not that hard. Believe me. I'm not gonna have you make all these other people get mad. Now call over to that gate and I won't let you get on the plane if you don't settle down.
You don't understand.
I understand. I live here, I work here, I know how big the airport is. Do you live here?
Do you also know that our flight was canceled twice?
Well, I don't know about that one, but I know this one's leaving at 4 o'clock. It's 3 o'clock, you have 1 hour to get there. And if you don't settle down, I'm going to have somebody take you off this aircraft, but it's not going to be going to your next one. You understand me? You're not the only people on this aircraft.
Look, I get it. Yeah, it is stressful dealing with connecting flights, especially when the first one gets delayed by a time frame. It sucks. And I think there's no way to sugarcoat that. It genuinely does. And if you're not good with handling your own anxiety, or you just naturally have high levels of anxiety, the panic is definitely going to be there. But being impatient like this, trying to get out of the plane quicker, is not going to help anyone, not even yourself. Heck, it's probably going to cause you more problems. So you're best to be patient, and then the moment you get out the plane and get into the massive open halls, that's probably where you start running. I don't know. Here we have Kevin complaining about someone apparently taking up the entire luggage overhead space, and goes off at a flight attendant when he tells him to just calm down, we'll deal with it, and threatens to call the police on the flight attendant. I'm pretty sure we know all this, where this is going.
Luggage up there. His luggage up there now. You don't have any space. Yeah, I got you. Now there's no space. He's got no space. You have no space because he put his luggage up here. Look.
Maximum underneath. Sir, I'm going to ask you one more time. If you continue...
No, don't point it. Don't point your finger at me.
Please stop.
You point your finger at me one more time, I'm going to call the police.
I'm going to tell you to stop.
No, if you point your finger at me one more time, I'm going to call the police.
I'm not pointing no fingers. I'm just saying to you.
No, you point your finger at me.
You need to stop with this whole luggage.
Point your finger at me, I'm going to call the police.
You're going to call the police on me? Excuse me.
No, you point your finger.
Nothing, sir. That's okay.
Belts on your own. Please be seated and fasten your seatbelt.
I'm just going to ask you a question here. Is this like your first time taking a flight? Do you not understand that flight attendants will literally come through after everyone's settled down and is on to play Jenga with people's overhead luggage? To just make sure to get everything to fit nicely. If there's bags that haven't quite gotten up there because they ran out of room, they'll play Tetris to find a way to get it in there. I've seen it multiple times over. It's like one of the things they're really good at. Here we have Kevin causing a nuisance on the plane and finds himself in handcuffs because he just doesn't want to sit down and just not be a nuisance on the flight.
You don't got it. You don't got it.
Sit down right now. I'm asking you to sit down. Sit down now. Sit down now. I've had about enough of you. Sit, chill. Just don't get up there.
I'm not gonna touch nobody, but I'm gonna get up. I'm not gonna touch nobody, but I'm gonna get up. I'm not gonna talk nobody, but I'm gonna get up. I'm stand right here. That's all I'm asking. I'm gonna stand right here. All right,
Sit down.
So I'm the only problem with this plane. And I love it. Especially for you, nigga. Especially for you. Especially for you.
Let me explain this really easy for you. If you don't sit down right now, you're gonna spend the rest of this flight in handcuffs. You understand me? No, sit down, put your seatbelt on. If you get up again, you're gonna spend the rest of this flight. Sit down.
I got it.
Here. No. Sit down. Damn it. Stop resisting. Stop resisting.
I don't think you fight with no people. You gotta sit there and watch it.
Face forward.
Is it really that hard to just mind your own business, sit down and chillax on a flight? Is that really that difficult that you had to get, you kept pushing back against this police officer to find yourself getting zip tied just so you don't go anywhere? Like, seriously? It's that hard? Wow.
In this clip, we got a Karen who's having a bit of a meltdown at an airport when she's told, like, hey, move up, you're next, go on. She decides to have a full-on meltdown in front of everyone else, complaining about how much she's the victim of all of this and how she's only being picked on because she's not being protected. I don't know.
No, entitlement is what you're doing. Thinking that you can come on my heels.
Can you move up, please?
Oh, see, no! I get the chance to do it when I want to do
Don't
it.
ball up your fist at me, baby. You got the wrong one. You really got the wrong one.
See
what you call a lie.
No, you are entitled. You are the ones who are entitled.
Hey, I'm not sure if I escorted out. I don't know what this is not spirit.
It's not not feeling protected. I am sick of it. Yes, I am. Every time I ask for something,
Either she's so self-deluded that she's unable to admit when she's actually in the wrong or when she's done something wrong, or she's actually having a mental breakdown in this moment. You know what, I'd probably throw out a penny and say there's most likely both of them. She probably is self-deluded, but is also having a mental breakdown because she's unable to handle being wrong. So here we got a Karen who was doing cartwheels and playing around with a bunch of kids prior to the flight or on the plane. I'm not 100% sure because it's not made clear when in the timeline this was happening, while she was also drinking alcohol. Ultimately, she would get kicked off of this flight because she looks intoxicated according to the flight attendant. Here's the clip.
No, you can walk away. You cannot come on this aircraft.
You are shaking and I can see it.
And because you guys are jeopardizing the safety of this aircraft right now.
Okay.
So I'm threatened by both of you.
Well, that's unfortunate.
Let's go.
The sheriff's department is on the
Now
way.
you hear from her home. I told you, I didn't want this thing to get escalated, but you wanted to know. Let's go ahead.
I want a sobriety test. I am sober. I work with children. I've been doing cartwheels and back bends.
You need to get out of here. You do. Otherwise, I'm going to close
So you
this
are
aircraft
recording,
door.
right? It's not going to help you. The recording is not going to help. You are wasting the situation.
Recording will help.
Okay.
You are wasting it.
What behavior did you see?
You cannot
of mine?
step any closer to me.
I'm not. I stepped to the side. What behavior did
If
you
you
see of
step
mine?
any closer to me, we're going to have problems.
I'm not stepping closer. What behavior of mine did you see?
What behavior did I see?
Yeah.
You are flipping all over the ground. You can't. You're engaging. You're loud. You want attention from everybody. All of us. The whole entire crew saw it. All of us are in agreement that you
Flipping
cannot
on the
come
ground.
here.
You mean the cartwheels I was doing with the children that I met on the plane?
As I was watching you drink your alcohol.
Like I said,
And
I
you-
did have one glass of wine.
Right. And so because you've admitted it, I'm not going to allow you to come on this aircraft today.
So anybody that's had one glass cannot get onto this
No,
plane?
anybody who's exhibiting behaviors of being intoxicated is not allowed to come onto an aircraft.
Do
And
I
that's-
seem intoxicated to you right now?
Yeah, you do. Because you aren't following any sort of instructions that any of us are asking you to do.
Because I have kids at home that I'm waiting to get back to.
Well, that's unfortunate.
It is.
It is. Because you should have been behaving yourself up in and you should have been behaving yourself here. You should have been listening to him. So that's
No, you made your decision before we walked up.
right, because her behavior
right.
because her behavior was that of somebody who appears to be intoxicated.
I didn't realize that you were an expert.
I don't have to be. I don't have to be. I have guidelines that we follow in our manual, and you can actually look it up on the FAA.gov.
Somebody is there.
And she's recording me, and so I want that deleted.
No,
So,
somebody will be
hey,
there.
she's recording me, and that's also against FARs. That's also against the
Define FARs.
Federal Aviation Regulations.
Okay.
Say that you have to have my permission to be filming me.
You know that, right?
Yeah.
Okay, let's
So
go.
I want law enforcement to deal with both of them, and I want that to be deleted immediately.
You can't make that demand, but they
I can.
I am not intoxicated.
Your inability to walk away is saying that you are.
It's the exact opposite, but
I think the first thing I want to point out is the whole "you can't record me" nonsense that this person was trying to pull at the end of the clip. It ultimately depends on a few different factors. If we're on the plane directly, yes, in theory, you can ask that because it would be a recording that is, I would say, it isn't protected by your First Amendment as much as what recording in a public place is, but here they're outside the actual plane itself, they're on the boarding tube, so it would more depend on what airport they're at and whether it's a government-ran airport or a privately owned airport. It will depend on how those laws will be at play. Ultimately, though, that's not what we're here for. We're here for the other bit of this, and if I'm completely honest, I'm more willing to side with the flight attendant here because yes, there would be these things where you have a bunch of guidelines on what to do about intoxicated people and how to pick someone who might possibly be intoxicated. Now that's the thing, might possibly be intoxicated, because some of the actions that intoxicated people will exhibit might get exhibited by people who also have some form of mental disability. But usually those people who have those type of mental disabilities usually have someone else with them that can actually explain that, hey, no, I'm sorry, they're not intoxicated, this is just, they've got some mental disabilities, I'm sorry about that. And yeah, clearly here there is no form of mental disabilities, as well as the flight attendant here has seen this person actively drinking whilst being loud, obnoxious, and cartwheeling around with a bunch of kids, either prior to the flight itself or on the actual plane itself. I'm not 100% which one's which because they don't make it clear in the timeline here, but ultimately I can see why this happened. And considering that this person's refusal to cooperate with the entire situation and just like be far more understanding, like, okay, yeah, fair enough, I do seem intoxicated, I can tell you I'm not, but hey, fair enough, and potentially move for the next flight. And it just sucked that you got kids who are waiting for you to get your flight and go back home, but in this situation here, you've shown yourself to be potentially intoxicated based upon the guidelines that employees are given to look out for when it comes to refusing intoxicated people. So it is what it is. Maybe next time you'll learn to just like be more cooperative when these type of things happen, because it might turn out they might see that actually no, you don't seem intoxicated, you're willing to work with me to figure this stuff out instead of just outright refusing and just being an asshole.